The question is, what's going to happen to future vacancies? And it's true, we were projecting, ever since shortly after 9/11, that vacancies we knew would spike, but that we thought they would come down. But as I mentioned earlier, we've had these multiple economic calamities, which it seems every year when we get through one crisis, why there's another one that pops up. Now, at least we hope that most of those things are now behind us. Now, having said all that, a lot of it is going to depend on what happens with the military situation. And I mean, just the news in the last few days, I mean, we're talking about dramatically increasing the number of troops going to Afghanistan. And right now we're supposed to have all the combat troops out of Iraq by, roughly this time next year, actually next August. And then we're supposed to have all the troops out of Iraq by a year from that. And there's still, I don't know what the current troop population is over there now. It's come down, but it's probably 130, 140,000, somewhere in that category. There's roughly 60,000 in Afghanistan, and we're talking about increasing that by as much as another 40. So that is going to have an effect. Now, of course, then the question is, well, where are they going to come from? And, are they all going to come from Fort Carson? Well, no, I don't think that's true. But there will certainly be a number of them. And we have been hoping that there would be a net gain every year of troops coming home as compared to troops going over, which would help our vacancy situation. So that kind of the jury's out on that as to what's going to happen. I mean, personally, I think that we're probably, looking at things being, relatively good economically for the next couple of years. This is just me speaking, but politically, it's hard for me to imagine that people that are currently making decisions are going to embark us on another major open-ended war in Afghanistan. I think that would be political suicide. And it doesn't matter whether you're Republican or Democrat, but I think those folks are going to lose their job if they do that. So yeah, we might do something short-term over there, and we probably will increase the troops at least for a while to try to get it under control. But I still think you're going to see a net influx back to the United States from the overseas deployments. So that's a plus. We aren't building anything, and I tell you, lenders are not going to be lined up to finance apartments in Colorado Springs or Pueblo or Denver or anywhere else with rental rates just staying stagnant and with costs the way they are right now and with people losing their buildings. So what's going to happen in the next few years is you're going to see some foreclosures. We're going to lose some of the C properties and some of the B properties probably. We're not going to build. Assuming that the economic situation gets a little bit better and that civilian job growth continues at least to some degree, and that the military situation stays roughly where it is now, doesn't get worse but doesn't get tremendously better. I think it's safe to say that vacancy rates should probably drop down. 5% is the so-called norm. In the 80s, or actually after the late 80s, in the 1990s, vacancy was literally locked at 5% for almost 10 years. It would be 6%, 5%, 4%, actually get down to 3% at one time. Yeah. And so I would say we would get back down to 6%, again, absent another economic calamity in the next 12 to 18 months.